Finish him! Get over here!
Yo, what's going on, guys? So welcome. This is going to be a video for the tier list for the maps on Resistance. Okay, so this is going to be an overall, okay? So you guys will know, like, if you're a survivor, which maps are the best for you, and if you're a mastermind, which ones are the best for you and the worst. So just to start, before we start, I just want to show you guys, I do have, like, all the cosmetics in the game. I do have, like, more than 11 million points, as you can see there. So I do have a lot of experience behind my opinion here that I'm going to be giving you guys. And, you can see here my survivors as well are pretty much all like higher than 60, so I do play survivor as well. As much as I do mastermind here, as you can see, they're all pretty much, you know, more than 130 level. So, and I do have like more than 98% win rate on all of them. So I do know what it takes to win as well. So my opinion is going to be based on you playing the best survivors or you playing the best masterminds, okay? So this is like the highest level possible in the game in terms of competitiveness. Then my tier list is based on that level, okay? So I'm not basing this on random public games that you're playing with trash teammates, okay? That's not my point here. Point here is to give you the truth, which is on the highest possible level of gameplay, which maps are the best, which maps are the worst, okay? So let's start. So starting with downtown, I would say downtown is by far, it's hard to pick. It's between downtown and research facility to be the most survivor favorite map in the game. Okay, so these two are if you're playing Masterminds, these are a nightmare. You do not want to be on these two maps. Reason for that, as you can see on the preset here, they're pretty small and they're kind of straight line, as you can see, to the exit. So that means the survivors are always going to be together, which is hard. If you have a gun like Nikolai, this is bad, because if they're all together, you have 4 people shooting the cameras, your camera's going to go down instantly. Okay, that's bad. If you have a creature, you have 4 people shooting the creatures, they're going to go down instantly. That's bad. Okay, so when they're together, they're stronger against everything you can throw at them. So that's why it's not as good. Okay, these linear maps. And second thing is the size. The size is way too small. There's only like 2 doors, as you can see there, and they're pretty much already at the exit. This is bad because obviously the game is time based. So if they don't have to travel too long, you know, it's easy for them. They waste no time to get to where they need to. So that's why it's kind of broken as well. The size, there's not too many doors they have to deal with. It's kind of a straight line, and you can see area 2 is pretty much the same thing. It's a little better in terms of size, but everything is mostly just like straight line. And it comes area 3 is just like I think is one of the most broken in the game because the cores are so badly placed. There's so many angles you can kind of shoot the core from without even being near the core, you know, which is stupid. And the camera angles are so bad as well in the cores for Masterminds. Most of the time, you only have one camera looking at the core as well with a good angle. So as soon as they destroy that camera, you're kind of out of the game until the camera recovers while they're shooting your core, you know, where you're just sitting there waiting for the camera to come back. So yeah, really bad area 3. Really bad angles on the cameras overall. Small map. You can see like the cores as well. They're too close to each other. They shouldn't be this close. Like I had a game that I lost once. Like all 3 cores, they spawn on the right side of the map, as you can see there. Like literally one after the other, all 3 of them spawn on the right side. So it's pretty stupid. Like they destroy a core, they walk 5 meters, and they're already destroying the second core. Like it shouldn't be that. It's just broken. Okay, the map is way too small. They have too many angles to shoot the cores. The camera angles suck. So as far as Mastermind, I would say this is to the point of saying this is not a balanced map. Okay, it's to the point of saying this is a broken map. It's not balanced. You shouldn't even be having to play a map like this. Is my evaluation in terms of tier list for this map. Okay, so in terms of Survivor, this is like top 1 map. In terms of Mastermind, this is like bottom of the tier list. You definitely don't want to be playing here if you're a Mastermind, and you definitely want to be playing here if you're a Survivor. Same thing for Research Facility, because again, it's super small, as you can tell. For example, they go to the door there, the first door. They go to the left, and they pretty much already got the key. You know, the keys are very close to each other as well. You know, there's not too much resistance you can put between them and the keys. It's very small, very linear. This one is not as linear, like in the sense sometimes they kind of split up. Some of them go to the left, some of them go to the upper right there. However, because there's so many, it's so like there's only like one door in between the keys and the exit, kind of, you know, type of way. You know, there's very little resistance you can put in between them. Like you put a zombie, they destroy the zombie, they already have the key and they're out. You know, there's not like 3-4 doors they have to deal with before getting to the key, like on some other maps. So for that reason, this is pretty bad as well. It's very easy to like rush area 1 on this map, the same way as downtown, because it's so small, and the layout just kind of favors that. Okay. Now moving on to area 2 here. This is a little better in the sense that it kind of forces them to split out again. But the only problem, the R2 is kind of okay here in terms of size and everything. The only problem with this is that the cameras for the terminal are insanely bad. You only have one camera watching the terminals. So, if they destroy a camera, you essentially cannot defend the terminal anymore until it goes back. Usually on better maps, you have two cameras watching the terminal. So if they destroy one, you can still use the other one while that one that got destroyed is recovering to kind of help, resist them. Because you need the cameras to do everything as Mastermind. So for that reason, Area 2 is just trash for this reason because there's only one camera. So it's really hard for you to defend the objective when they destroy it. It pretty much makes it too easy for him. Okay, all they have to do is shoot your camera and you cannot defend the terminal anymore. So yeah, for that reason, this is pretty bad. And coming to Area 3 is kind of the same thing with downtown. Like the cores are way too close. You had that little lift in the middle that goes up and down. But you're just like one lever away from doing the objective. It should be more than that, okay? Like you destroy one core at the top, for example. The other core could show at the same top again, and the survivors are there in like 5 seconds and shooting the second core. Or like if you destroy one at the top and it spawns at the bottom, again, they just pull a lever and they're ready at the objective. It shouldn't be that way. They should have to kind of walk around the map more to be able to get there. Because again, this is time based. So you kind of just spawn the objective on top of them. It kind of ruins the balance, it makes it too easy for the survivors. The objectives are that close to each other in terms of time. The only kind of okay part of this area 3 is the little room on the top left, as you can see. That is the only balanced part about area 3 is that room. If there was like multiple rooms like that, like a room at the bottom, room at the top right, room at the top left, and the cores were there, kind of very spread out like that, as well as having the lift they would have to press to go up and down, that would be better. That would be more balanced. But in the way that it is, like the only balanced core in this map is the one inside that little room. Everything else is kind of imbalanced. Like another thing as well is the camera angles are insanely bad. It's the same problem with the area 2. Like there's only one camera watching the course, so if they destroy the camera, it's kind of you can't do anything anymore. So the angles are pretty bad as well for the cameras. There's a lot of blind spots and things of that nature. They can shoot the core without. There's so many angles they can shoot the core without actually being close to the core, which is the same problem with downtown. It's just bad design. The only kind of in terms of cameras, the exit door there is the only part where the camera layout is balanced. Everything else is kind of broken. So for that reason, this map is pretty bad along with downtown in terms of Mastermind, and very good for survivors. Okay, so these two are the best for survivors and the worst for Masterminds respectively. Now as far as casino, it's kind of okay, like not too bad, not too good. Area 1 it kind of follows the same problem as the other ones in the sense that it is too linear, too small as well. There's not many doors and things like that you have to go through to get the keys and get out. Moving on to area 2, this is a little better in terms of the camera defense, and you can see there is a little bigger as well in terms of size. They have to kind of walk around a little more to be able to do the objective. So it's more balanced. It's kind of medium balanced there. It's a little better than the previous two that I mentioned. On area 3 is kind of bad too because it follows for the Mastermind the problem that there's only one camera watching the course. So as soon as they destroy that camera, like you cannot defend anymore until it goes back. So that's a pretty bad thing. But in terms of size, I think it's a little small. It should be a little bit bigger, but it's kind of okay. Okay, they might still have to travel quite a bit between one core and the other. So it's kind of okay, but it's definitely kind of pushing it. Almost breaking that balance in terms of size. So this map, I would not say is a favorite map for Survivor. Mastermind. It's kind of medium to kind of bad. Okay, for Mastermind. So for you Survivor, it should be kind of indifferent. It's kind of an okay map. These ones are definitely better for you Survivor. This is kind of indifferent. It's kind of okay, medium tier there. Abandoned Park. This one is a little better for Mastermind because you can see again is there is definitely a little the right side not as much, but the left side is definitely a lot bigger. There's many doors, like there's 1, 2, 3, like 5. There's like 6 doors, 5 doors they have to deal with before they can get to that key on the left side. So now we're talking. Now this is more balanced for Mastermind. You can put a lot more resistance in between that pathway for them to get to the key. The right side, you still have a bit of doors, but it's kind of a little shorter in relation to the left side. So this is kind of okay. This is getting better, okay? It's kind of balanced. This is kind of a balanced area 1, more towards okay for the Mastermind. And for you as a Survivor, it's kind of indifferent. It's kind of okay, okay? It's a medium tier map. Moving on to area 2. This is not too bad for a Mastermind as well. Most of the terminals here have 2 cameras that you can use to watch it. So it's not as bad. The exception of the one on the left there. The map there only has 1 camera watching the terminal. But the other ones, you can have 2. You can have, as far as preset, you can have a lot. I think you have 20 points available for this map in particular. So in area 2, so it's really good. You can have 2 liquors like I have there, for example. It's not super big as you can see there. But it's kind of okay. But the fact that it has 2 cameras, it kind of compensates for the small size. So it's kind of okay in that sense as well. Coming up to area 3, it has the same problem. It's very common. There's only 1 camera watching the course. So if they destroy it, it's really hard for you to keep up with them destroying your cameras on the course in terms of defending it. So that's a problem as well. You do have the bridges. The bridges are kind of good. Sometimes they have to make a huge turn from one court to the other. Sometimes the course spawns right next to the other, and then is unbalanced as hell. Like you see the right side, for example, you have you have 2 cores at the right side. Sometimes you can destroy one and the other spawns right next to it. You know, that happened to me a few times. So it kind of broken when that happens. It's the same problem with downtown. So there is a kind of an RNG factor that can kind of break this map to an extent. You also have the problem with the cameras for Mastermind. So for you Survivor, I'll say this is okay map, okay? This is just okay. For you as a Mastermind, is okay, kind of, you know, watch out. This might be bad for you type of map. So like overall, I would say Abandoned Park is better than Casino, okay? I would say so far. Okay? So these are the worst ones from let's say from the Mastermind perspective. This is worse in the game, worse in the game. This is kind of okay. Okay towards bad. This is okay. And now for Survivor, Heaven, indifferent. And this is kind of okay. Kind of watch out, you might lose if you play wrong for Survivor. Now moving on to Prison. This map is kind of the weird layout is pretty weird as well. It's too short as well in the sense that, you know, you kind of forced to place the keys on that room because that's the kind of longest pathway they have to take to get to the objective. Everything else is way too close to where they start off. So this map is pretty bad in terms of size as well when it comes to area 1 there. And the cameras, I guess, are kind of okay for area 1. But it's really the biggest problem is really just the size here, okay, when it comes to the Prison map. For area 1, that's really just the main problem, and it's too linear. It's not linear, but like in the sense that there's only that room that's really good to defend for having an objective. You know, there's not most people survivors already know the Mastermind is not gonna place keys on the top portion there. Moving on to area 2, this is a little better as well. You can see it's a lot bigger, a lot more spread out. The terminals have multiple cameras on them. So it's easier to defend. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is a balance map for area 2. This is definitely okay. Okay towards good for Mastermind. Okay, so definitely kind of more of a high tier map in terms of area 2 for Mastermind. For you as Survivor, especially with those, like the top left there, you kind of have 3 cameras watching the terminals. It can be kind of tough. So for you Survivor, you definitely have no advantage here. It's an okay towards watch out type of map for Survivor. And for Mastermind, it's an okay towards good type of map. Coming to area 3, I would say it's pretty bad for Mastermind for the most part. The camera angles are not entirely that good. Although you do have most of the time 2 cameras that you can watch the courts with for Mastermind. For the Survivor, it's kind of bad in the sense that you have to kind of go around sometimes a lot to get to the course. And you also have to pull down the lever to destroy the course. So that's really good as well. It's a good plus for Masterminds. So I would say this map in terms of area 3 is definitely okay towards good for Mastermind, okay? And for you as Survivor, it's kind of indifferent, kind of a watch out type of map, okay? But Area 1, I would say, is definitely more. Area 1 would be the better part for Survivor on this map. Coming up to Uptown, this map is kind of it's kind of what downtown should have been. Okay, it's kind of what downtown should have been is this map. So this map is pretty good. I would say it's definitely a balanced map for for the most part. Because you can see Area 1 is pretty spread out as well. It's pretty big. They have a few doors they have to go through, so it's not that easy to rush. Coming up to Area 2, the terminals you can put like a lot of cameras on them. So like there's two cameras most of the time watching the course. So that's pretty good for Mastermind. It's pretty big as well. Like you can put a terminal on the left side there and one all the way on the right side, so they have to kind of walk around a lot between the maps. So that's really good. So definitely a balanced map there. I would say this is balanced. Okay, this is definitely good for Mastermind, and kind of not too easy for the survivors. So this is what all maps should be. Coming up to Area 3, the only problem I would say with this, the size is really good. You have the lifts there, so very balanced, very good for this Mastermind. The only problem I would say is that the angles of the cameras can be pretty bad, since kind of like downtown is pretty bad. So the angle of the cameras can be pretty bad on this map, but that's the only problem. Everything else is really good. The size is good. You know, the lifts, everything's pretty balanced. So definitely one of the top maps for you to be playing as Mastermind, and for you to be careful when playing Survivor. And finally, Amusement Park, which is definitely I would say a Mastermind favorite map. Okay, this out of all the maps, I'll say this is the only one that's actual like Mastermind favorite. Okay, because you can see Area 1 is like so big. There's so many doors. You can put one at the top left there at the bottom. You can put another key on the top right, one at the very top. So you spread out everything. They have to walk around a lot to get to the keys. There's really a lot of doors in the way. Really good for Mastermind. Definitely more Mastermind favorite. For Survivor, it's still kind of okay, but I would say yeah, there's definitely a little edge there, a little bit more towards the Mastermind in relation to the Survivors for Area 1. Area 2 is kind of the same thing. You can see like pretty big there again. You can spread out very well the terminals. Most of the time, you do have two cameras watching the terminals as well, so very good for Mastermind again. A few doors in the way there too, so again, pretty good for Mastermind. Everything just very good for Mastermind. Very kind of like how you expect as a Mastermind all maps to be in terms of size and resistance that you can place between the objectives. Coming up to Area 3, this is by far, I would say, the best Area 3 in the game for Mastermind, and the worst Area 3 in the game for US Survivor. Especially because of those bridges, like you can waste a lot of time with those bridges as a Mastermind. And you can see they kind of have to travel not just the bridge itself, but the entire map sometimes to go between one core and the other. This is how Casino should have been. This is how, research facilities should have been. This is a better layout. This is how the maps should kind of be on Area 3, I would say. The thing that I balance towards the Mastermind side is really just the bridges, okay? Not so much the size, is more like the bridges. The bridges is what kind of pushes the map towards the Mastermind favor. So yeah, so this is top one map by far. If you're a Mastermind, you want to be playing on this map every single time. This is top one map, and this is the worst map for a Survivor to play. Okay, Amusement Park. And these two are heaven for Survivor, and the nightmare for Mastermind. Uptown is kind of okay for Mastermind. Okay towards good. Prison is okay. Casino's okay. So let's just cover from again the perspectives to finish this top. I know I didn't give numbers like this is top one, this is top two. I just give the worst and the best and what's in between. So I'm not gonna give numbers, whatever you guys can understand. So this one, top tier for Survivor, bottom tier for Mastermind. Top tier for Survivor, bottom tier for Mastermind. This is kind of indifferent for everyone. So Casino indifferent for everyone. But definitely more, better for the survivors. Abandoned Park is okay. Balanced map. Definitely definitely a balanced map, I'd say. Not favorite for pretty much anyone. Prison is okay as well. This area 1 is a little bad, but everything else is kind of okay. Uptown is okay, more towards Mastermind side. At Amusement Park, the bottom tier for Survivors, top tier for Masterminds. Okay, guys. So those are the tier list, the maps, what I think about them, my thoughts and whatnot, and what makes them that bad or good. And yeah, comment below. Let me see what you guys think. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see next. Always a pleasure to talk to you guys in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Make sure if you want to check also my tier list for Survivors and for Masterminds characters. Okay. So see you guys there.